Can I get?
Welcome, everybody, to another Horror Corner. Hello, everyone. My name is JPOOL, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm with, once again, my co host, LC.
In solidarity, I'm here too.
You're here too. If I have a little bit of reverb on me, it's because I have a different mic right now.
It's colorful.
Oh,
Yeah.
sound
Yeah,
really
what's
good
up?
when you lift it up.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
actually,
want
I
to make
probably
you hold it the whole time, but
I think you probably could connect it to this, but I have to unscrew a bunch of stuff. And that's a headache right now.
let's
Yeah,
let's
let's just deal with what we have right here.
let's
Um,
that's it.
how was your week, LC? Did you see any new movies?
I did. I saw the back rooms. I got lost in the back rooms, mainly with the pacing. That's me, like
Oh
flinching.
no!
Don't hit me.
People that love the backrooms are just throwing stuff at you and send
Mhm,
you like
mhm.
threats on TikTok and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, how
It's
dare
fine.
you? How dare
It's
you say bad things about the back room?
I definitely got what I expected. I just wanted more. So that's what I'll say about that. And how about you? I heard you saw the one that I probably should have seen.
Yes, I saw Obsession, and it was awesome. Definitely go see it. Yeah, it is one of probably the best horror movies of this year. And it's not your typical horror film where, it is not your jump scare, monster in the corner. In fact, the bad guy in here is it's very black and white in here.
Okay. All right.
So it's like I'm not going to spoil too much for anybody who hasn't seen it or looking forward to seeing it. I could just say that things happen in here that are beyond people's abilities to stop. And then there are other things where if they just talked it out, they might have like avoided everything.
Oh, like a real relationship.
Like a real relationship, exactly.
Oh.
But no, the actress in here, Indian Navarrete, definitely did an incredible job, and she should get all the awards
Every single one
for
of them.
this role. All yeah, she just is incredible in here. And for I remember what was it? She did like a small role in this television show called what was it? Superman and Lois,
Okay.
and like she really didn't stand out very much in that show, but in this film, she is the star
On point.
of this film. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good. Like you definitely
I'm
need to see
looking
it.
her up. Looking her up right now. I Yeah, I'm really excited. How do you spell her last name?
I believe
Navarrete, you
it's
said?
yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
here she is.
INDE Navarrete. It looks like
Okay.
Navarrete almost.
Navarrete, yeah. What else? 13 Reasons Why. She was in that.
Yeah, I think she was like halfway through, if I remember correctly.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, she's a good actress, and like I said, this is like a career-changing film, in my opinion, for her. This will make everybody want to like make her the next scream queen, and her screams are insane in here. Like they will disturb you. That's how good her screams are. So
Like
yeah,
like better than better than our girl from Ready or Not?
yes, even that.
Real. Okay. Now
Yeah,
it's
they're
on.
they're they're on a different level. I don't know. It's like it's
Samara is like
Samara is
warrior
like
princess.
she's warrior princess scream. This is more of like a scream
Mm,
of pain,
okay.
like
All right.
not just you'll
Like
you'll see what I.
guttural?
th- I'll just say that there's more than one entity in a body.
Oh. Oh. Mm.
Yeah, I don't want to throw too much out because yeah, definitely go check it out. But
All
we're
right.
not talking
Fair enough.
about that film really. We are talking tonight
No.
about Shaun of the Dead, and unfortunately, and I'll say this up front, I couldn't find my copy to watch because I think I packed it away.
That's
But I've
okay.
seen I've seen this movie so many times, and it's such
You
a
know,
classic, and people talk
let
about it
me
all the
tell you,
time. Yeah.
I was so happy to watch this again for the umpteenth millionth time after. This made up for the fact that I was less than thrilled with my brand new release movie. This caused me to punt out, which here's the thing. The question of what is your favorite horror movie, I can't answer to this day. I've been asked that question so many times and I cannot answer it. But watching this movie again made me say, is this it? Is this maybe? It's definitely top 10. This movie is so good. It is one of my favorites. I think anybody who regularly tunes in knows that I love the horror comedy subgenre. This It's just so perfect. I truly, truly, truly put this up as one of my favorite movies of all time of any genre. Shall we dive in?
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's dive in from the beginning.
Okay, well, we've got 2004 Universal Pictures, directed by Edgar Wright, who also did, I know you're a big fan of Last Night in Soho, Baby Driver, and Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is one of my other favorite movies. Um, this is one of what wound up becoming not a series, but one of three movies that Edgar Wright did with some of these actors, Simon Pegg. Um, and it wound up being called, I have to look it up because I always want to say Coronet, and I don't think that that's exactly right. It's the Cornetto trilogy. So anybody who is from the UK probably knows Cornetto. I'm not personally familiar, but it's an ice cream type. And this was the first of what they refer to as the Cornetto trio, which are the flavors of ice cream. And this one is strawberry, which is because it's red for blood. But if you've seen Hot Fuzz, that's another one of these. Um, these are just absolutely, deadpan dry Brit comedy gold. So, in any case, this movie starts out with our friend Shaun of the title, who is hanging out at their local pub, the Winchester. And Shaun is played by Simon Pegg, who, as I mentioned, is part of this sort of trilogy, if you will. But he's also been in The Boys, Hot Fuzz, and Mission Impossible as well. Just such a great kind of everyman. I absolutely love that he is our star of this show, and he's having a breakup conversation basically with his girlfriend Liz, who's played by Kate Ashfield. And if you're tuning into YouTube, you can see Liz there on the far right in blue. She's just frustrated that Shaun, all he ever wants to do is hang out with his buddy Ed, who is Nick Frost, also of this trio. And he's actually been in a lot of other horror movies recently. Did you happen to see Getaway? It came out a couple of years ago.
No, I did not, but I've heard of it.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then I just watched The Whistle, which I thought was going to go into theaters. I don't know if it ever did, but it was on Shudder, and he plays the professor in The Whistle, which was a pretty good. I mean, you got what you paid for if you watched The Whistle. Um, but Ed, played by Nick Frost, is Sean's flatmate and bestie, and kind of like everybody's favorite friend that never grew up. We all have one.
Yeah.
Um, the guy who is gonna fart and laugh about it. Always
I'm
good to
that
go.
guy.
You're that guy. I was gonna say he's always playing a video game, and I get an alert on Discord every time you're playing a video game. So
Yeah.
maybe. So you're that guy. I don't know if, I can necessarily relate to Sean or Ed, but I can certainly relate to Liz's character. I feel like I've definitely been there in the "it's time to grow up" moment. Um, but yeah, this is I think something that happens to everybody, right? At a certain point in your life, you have to kind of make that decision of, are you gonna, go out and mature and are you gonna start adulting? Um, and she's ready to take that next step, and Sean is, he's trying to figure it out still. She's critical that she's never met his mom. Her roommates are there, and they seem to kind of add a little fuel to the fire. That's Diane and David. um, Diane, did you recognize her?
Which one? The
The roommate, Liz's roommate.
yeah. Where have I seen her before? Hold on a second.
I had to
Um.
look it up because I'm like, how do I know her? So she was in UK's version of The Office. I didn't know her from that, but
Oh yeah, she
I
was in
want
the
you to.
Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Right, she was the aunt,
Yes.
which she's so much younger, obviously,
Oh
in
yeah, I'm
Shaun of the
here.
Dead.
Yeah, because that
Um,
was in
but that was
2018.
Yeah, that was kind of a nice, surprise. It made me actually wanna watch The Chilling Adventures again too. And then David, who's played by Dylan Moran, he was in Notting Hill. That was the only thing I recognized him from. A little rom-com action, but I can't recall him from any horror movies. But they're not helping the situation either. Um, so, Sean goes home, goes back to his flat with his, roommate Ed, and he's getting ready for work the next morning, and he's confronted by their other roommate Pete, who's also not cool with Ed not contributing. And it's just, Sean's kind of in this space and time where, he's being pulled in one or the other direction. Is he gonna, start to grow up, or is he gonna hang out with his best friend and just continue enjoying life?
Oh yeah, and
um
he's kind of trapped in this mode where like every morning he does the same routine over and over again, to the point when something bad does happen, he's still doing the same routine and doesn't notice anything is wrong.
Well, and that's, where I started to think, watching this again, is this kind of a take on just society, right? We get so wrapped up in our day-to-day routines. I mean, who hasn't driven to work or on a regular drive and totally spaced the whole thing? I can't tell you how many times I've done that, where I follow the same route that I always do. I'm listening to something on, the radio or a podcast or whatever, and I don't even remember the drive. Um, and throughout this movie, you've got Ed's character with a very, early aughts 2004 cell phone that keeps kind of distracting from everything that's going on around them, and causing some problems. But, that's kind of a fun commentary too. This movie was 2004. Cell phones certainly were not capable back then of doing what they are now. This is just a flip phone Ed has, not even a BlackBerry. And, talk about distraction. We definitely, in these kind of first world um cultures that we all operate in, these our current present day life, there's a lot of distraction around us, and we go through routines and don't notice anything. And so, as you mentioned, he's walking through life, going to work, and, you know, it, just, it knows to hand money to the guy who asks for money every day, and knows to, go into the local, I don't know if they call them bodegas or whatever, the local corner store, and, grab what he typically grabs for work, and just goes about his typical routine, not really noticing that things are starting to get interesting.
Oh yeah, it doesn't even pay attention to the news when things pop up. It's just like, yeah, you should really listen to the news every once in a while because they're trying to tell you something.
Yeah,
Something's happening.
like mysterious virus and super flu and all of these, call outs, but he's just, going another I don't know if they intended this in the writing of this movie, but he works at an appliance store, so basically surrounded by distraction. He's, what you mentioned, he's not paying attention to the news, he's showing someone a TV to buy, and every channel he's flipping through, it's another, warning about what's going on in the world, and he's not even paying attention to it because he's just going through his salesman routine. Um, and while he's at work, that's when we meet his stepdad who comes in to, make sure that once again Shaun doesn't also fail in his relationship with his mom, who he apparently keeps not visiting when he's supposed to. But it's Philip, which is Bill. I think you pronounce his last name Nye,
Yeah.
um, who kind of always plays the jerk, right? He was Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean. He was the nemesis in Love Actually that, in my opinion, never really gets resolved. Like just the kind of jerk who's
Was he a nemesis? He was sort of the person who was just tired of doing the same routine over and over again, and more like ends up realizing the love of his life is his manager.
right, but he's still kind of a jerk in Love Actually. He's isn't he the one who has his like he's um basically ignoring his spouse and
No, he doesn't. He's not even married.
no.
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
I think you're doing about Rickman, Alan Rickman's character.
Okay. Huh. I'll have to look at that. I thought he was the guy who was married to what's her face. Now I've got to look it up. Hold
What
on.
was it? Emma Thompson's character?
Yeah.
No, no, no. That was Rickman.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
maybe he's
He,
not always the bad guy. Sorry, Bill
yeah. No,
Nye.
well,
He was definitely Davy Jones.
he was the bad guy. He was the bad guy in what was it? Underworld.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he's got some bad guy cred.
yeah. He
Um
has that face. He's British too, so that's how.
Careful.
I'm sorry, but like, if you want, even if you want a quote unquote Nazi, for some reason you cast a British guy. I don't know why, but that's how it
Hey.
works. That's how it works over in
That works.
Hollywood.
Well, I love his character in this movie. He's so dry, and even just the way he says Shaun, he's almost like foreshadowing his own zombie character in a couple of moments in this movie. Um, so yeah, so Shaun, he's kind of faced with a couple of things. He's got to do better by his mom. He's got to do better by his girl, and it's kind of this. Um, are you basically so distracted that you're not even taking care of these relationships? And here he goes back home, and he's missing even more crazy stuff now. There's like people just dying at the wheel in their cars and people eating the heads off of pigeons. So stuff just kind of
Just your typical day in Britain,
it's
especially the
just
South
getting
End.
progressively you're gonna make so many friends across the pond.
Hey, they will agree with me. They will agree with me, especially these
don't
days.
don't you forget to shout out your socials loud and proud this time. So yeah, so he gets back to his flat and he screws up the dinner arrangements that was supposed to be his saving grace with Liz. He can't get a table, so what does he recommend? Where should him and Liz go? The Winchester. Just
Yep.
exactly the thing that's going to get Liz completely pissed off. Um, so he knows he's got to make it up to her, right? He's got to go and apologize, and he rolls over to her house, and she basically officially breaks up with him. That's it, no more. He tries to give her the flowers that he bought for his mom that he kept forgetting to buy, and she sees the card on it. So they call it, and I think he realizes, yeah, this is not good. So he meets his buddy Ed at the Winchester, and they start drinking. And there's this really cool moment that happens in this movie, where it's one of those little, like, kind of fun facts. But while he's talking to Ed about all of this stuff, like, basically Ed's character winds up telling the entire plot of the movie. Do you know about this little fun thing?
Yes, I do.
It's awesome. So you'll have to I feel like everybody has seen this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, seriously, what are you doing with your life? But when Ed sums up to his buddy, his heartbroken buddy, how they're, going to continue, because he's like, what am I gonna do? And he's like, we're just gonna keep drinking. And he basically sums up what the entire rest of the movie is going to be in code. He talks about, we'll have Bloody Marys after we keep drinking all night, which they wind up encountering Mary in the garden. We'll go out for a bite to eat at King's Head, which there's this whole run-in with Philip, King Philip. It's just this really cool little fun Easter egg for fans of the movie. So, in any case, they get piss drunk. That's me trying to use British lingo. And they wind up going home. It's like they're DJing, they're having the time of their lives. Pete's pissed. Um, and the next morning, they are wickedly hungover. Um, there's absolute chaos around Shaun when he makes his typical walk to the corner store. He's literally slipping in blood. He's passing like dead people, and he's so hungover he doesn't see anything.
Well, the cool thing
Um,
about this scene is like if you start out with the first scene where you see him going to the market, and when everything is normal, and then you put it with the scene where he's going after things go crazy, he is walking the same path. The camera is making the same movements along the same path, except things in the new scene are there's chaos, and he's not noticing
mm,
any of this. And I love how Edgar Wright does like the panning of this, because it does the same
right.
panning that he did when he's following at the beginning of the film with Shaun, and it's genius. Like it's sort of like you literally can put it the top to bottom, and it's like
Oh yeah.
the same scene. It's really cool.
Well, it's funny because it's kind of a callback to our last record with the whole notion of, if you become a zombie, do you return to doing the things that you're used to doing, right? The reversal of reptilian brain.
Yeah.
Um, and you have, like, the guy who previously was walking his dog is like now just like, a zombie walking down the road with the leash and there's no dog. Um, so maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's, eh, that's what we'll all wind up. So you and I will wind up trying to record a podcast as zombies, but not really having any luck with the audio.
Probably you beat a zombie. I can't die. So
Oh, hey, secrets. So Sean goes back home, and they're like flipping through the channels trying to find something, and every channel is now what was kind of news about like a mystery flu. Now it's, hey, there's something really bad happening, stay inside. But this is like one of my favorite scenes of any movie. Watching it, it's a little problematic watching it now in the year 2026. um Definitely more problematic than when I watched it in 2004 or 5 or whenever I saw this movie for the first time. But there's as Ed says, a drunk girl out in the garden. And if you see a drunk girl in the garden, you should probably, especially if she's this drunk as this particular person is, who's not drunk, she's a zombie, should probably try and help her, not start throwing rocks at her, which is what happens. But
And
they're
then
like, whoa, yeah,
records.
well, that's the best. So, I mean, this is where I feel like the writing of this movie is just such comedic genius, because they start realizing that after they, see that she's a zombie, Ed runs in the house. He's like, "Hold on, I'll be right back." And he comes out with a camera and takes pictures. It's all of these fantastic deadpan moments that are there's such subtle comedy happening throughout, but the records you mentioned, they figure out, oh, something happens when you hit him in the head, and so instead of just having them like start hitting them in the head, they have to bring out a crate of albums and have this whole discourse on which albums they should throw and which they shouldn't, which is hilarious. They're like, the Batman soundtrack. Boom, yeah, throw it.
How dare
It just
they? How dare they? That was a banger.
that honestly, I can sing several of those Prince songs, for sure. That is a classic. Bat Dance? Are you kidding me? So just this is when the movie, I think, really kind of kicks into high gear with its comedy. Let's face it, this movie isn't scary. There's zero scariness about this movie, I think, as a person who's probably consumed way too much horror. Maybe little kids would be scared. There's certainly some kind of slapstick, bathroom potty humor, but some great practical effects, but nothing really scary. But comedy overdrive at this point, especially the relationship between Sean and Ed. That the two of them as a duo are wonderful to watch, and it's kind of that thing that you have with best friends, right? Like. I started thinking about this watching this movie, and I'm like, if the zombie apocalypse happens, I really want to ride that out with my best friend, because you just get each other on a level that I think anyone else probably wouldn't be able to understand why you're going to make certain moves or why you're going to do certain things. Um, but they make a plan. They're going to go. This is kind of fun too, the different plans that they make, but they eventually decide after a couple of different plans that they're going to go and pick up they realize they have to kill Philip, because they have this great conversation on the phone with Sean's mom, Barbara, which ends with Ed saying the classic line. You want to bust out with it, or are you going to let me?
I'll let you do it.
We're coming to get you, Barbara, which is so great. And I actually read that Quentin Tarantino and Romero were both huge fans of this flick.
Oh
And
yeah.
in future, yeah, they wound up like allowing cameos in some of their flicks and what. Oh, we forgot to talk about it when we were talking about what Edgar Wright directed as well. A callback to some of our earlier favorite discussions on this podcast. He actually directed another one of the 90-second fake trailers in Grindhouse
Yep.
called Don't, which we need to see that. I'm throwing a call out to Edgar right now. We need to see the full length feature of Don't, please,
Yeah,
and thank you.
one of the very few like trailers that didn't have a feature made afterwards, because almost everything else, even Thanksgiving, was made into a movie.
Right, right. Yeah, like it's like don't open the door. Don't look under the bed. Would be a fantastic, and it has to be the fourth in the trilogy, with these two amazing comedic greats. So in any case, the plan is they've got to go to Sean's mom house. They've got to kill Philip. Then they're going to go pick up Liz, and of course they're going to go to the Winchester because it's safe, it's secure, and Ed has to have a place to smoke. But right before they leave, they encounter Pete in the shower, Pete's been turned into a zombie.
Oh, poor
So
Pete. He was
poor
actually the
Pete.
responsible one. He was the responsible
Yeah,
one.
this is what happens. This is what happens. Will it get you anywhere? No. You'll just get turned into a naked zombie. But they take Pete's car and they head off. And they get to the house, and Sean's about to kill Philip, but he's not dead yet. So, and this is the moment I was referring to earlier, where he's like Sean, but he's actually still totally fine. Um, but this is kind of cool, and this, I feel like watching this from a review perspective and just paying more attention, what I started to learn about this movie this time around is this is really a story of this Sean's character evolving.
Yeah,
He's kind of, yeah, he's really, for the majority of this movie, he's distracted and, going through this mundane existence, and you see him kind of awaken, and he really naturally starts taking charge. And you see he actually he's a very caring and capable person, which is what everybody in his life is accusing him of not being, right? He just takes over. He becomes, total boss. This is what we're
yeah,
gonna do. He gets everybody in the car, and Ed's still Ed throughout.
yeah.
um,
I really like the going back to Philip. I really liked the conversation he had before Philip died, because it's sort of a reconciliation between
yeah.
each other, and uh, it was actually very kind of like emotional because Bill Nye can do drama. He really can do drama
Mhm.
when he wants to. He can be funny when he wants to, but he can definitely do drama. And I thought that was a really heartfelt conversation he had with him.
Yeah, you even see Sean's character tear up a little bit. This is like, you're not my. I mean, he even says it at one point to his mom. Like, she's like, "Well, your dad." He's like, "He's not my dad." Um, and yeah, he tells him like, you've always been a son to me, and it's you really see Sean's character, just he grows throughout this movie. This is probably one of the most pivotal, well, at least it's the first pivotal moment where you start to see that evolvement. They're all stuck in a car when it happens, of course, and then and then Philip transforms into a zombie, and they all have to get out of the car, but they're child locked in. So another great comedic moment. Um, Now they're on foot, and they've got to figure out how to get to the Winchester on foot. And I love all of this because at one point they pass another group which is strikingly similar to Sean and his pals and his mom.
Yeah,
They all like almost like good game, high five, like you used to when you were in little league, like good game. But they like hi hi hi, and they're all kind of the same character, just a different group of
yeah, they're going
people.
opposite directions, which is funny.
Right, right. So they make it to the Winchester, and actually, lest I fail at delivering this probably most memorable scene, which is the one playing behind my head. There's a moment where they spot the Winchester after like going through all these shortcuts to get there, and it is absolutely surrounded by zombies. And they're like, "Well, how in the world are we going to get there?" And so they fake being zombies, which makes you wonder, like, how do zombies actually know you're alive?
It's
Is it
smell.
the
It's
sense of
supposed to. It's
smell?
supposed to be.
Okay.
It's supposed to be smell, but in here it's a different. Hold on a second. My cat might disconnect me. I'm trying to get them past my
At
cord.
least it's your cat, not mine, because
Yeah, I
I
know,
am
but they're both going past me, and I'm trying to get them away from my cord and stop playing with it. All right, there you go.
we've been having audio and cat problems have been the
Yes.
theme of this particular record. Yeah, I would say it's got to be smell in most cases, because well, sound too, right? Because you never want to be too loud.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a lot of times it's hearing, and they
Hmm.
for some reason that sense is still available to them, and they'll come
I
after
mean,
you. It's weird. It
In a
depends on like
pinch.
the franchise. It depends on the franchise. And here, like what was it? What was her name? The one that's with them. Was it
Diane.
Diane? She's the actress.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
she's the theater kid. She's like
Yeah.
basically he's teaching them like, okay, this is how you act like a zombie. Let me hit you at best, like, and so they're doing this whole bit is hilarious.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're trying to pretend like before they get to the Winchester how to move around and act like a zombie, and the scene you see behind you, some of them just look like they're really nervous or they're like
Right.
mentally not all there. It's just hilarious. It's like, okay,
I
I think Sean's the only one really putting his, Sean and Diane are really putting it,
mhm.
acting in. And
Yeah,
Barbara is
Shaun,
just
he
Barbara's
gets
just
it.
Barbara. Barbara's just Barbara. They're
Barbara's
like, wow,
scared.
Barbara. And I was like, Barbara, that's incredible, like zombie look. And she's like, huh? And she's not doing anything. She's just that's her.
And then I think Ed's still trying to like do he does a any which way but loose chimpanzee impression a couple of times in this movie, and I think that's what he's trying to play off in the background. Um, but here's the thing: be very quiet, hide, barricade yourself. But if you wind up in the pinch and you're absolutely surrounded by zombies, I am 100% pulling this out of my back pocket if there's nothing else. I'm going to try and fake it till I make it and see if it gets me through the crowd. Uh
Yeah,
and this is another moment where Shaun really like, and now he's, of course they've picked up the roommates, David and Diane, who have done really nothing but make sure that Liz fast tracks this breakup by reminding her of, how pitiful Shaun is in being, a mature adult, let alone a boyfriend. He it's another moment where he really takes charge. He's like, the window gets broken into the Winchester when they're trying to figure out how to get there and awakens all the zombies. And Sean's like, you know what? You guys go in, I'll distract him. And he, hey guys over here, follow me, and takes all the zombies away from them. So you can see Liz is starting to turn a little bit, and look at Shaun differently, and maybe this guy isn't such a, a loser. Maybe
yeah,
this guy in the right moment, maybe he's going to rise to the occasion and, be the hero. Which he really, turns out to be. But in Sean's absence, which it's funny because, throughout this movie they also called David, who's Diane's boyfriend. He gets called a twat several times throughout this movie, and in Sean's absence, he really, shows his true colors that he's absolutely what everybody suspected all along. He's just being a jerk. He's, very acting kind of immature and trying to be in control, and he's just kind of a jerk. And it's funny when Sean arrives back to the Winchester, now that whole persona that he had before, it's totally gone. He's 100% in control of the situation. He walks in, he's like, "Okay, this is what we're going to do." Um so he's completely evolved at this point. He's emotionally mature, he's in charge. He's truly the hero. Um and then probably the most epic scene happens. uh, they're trying to get the lights on. There's no power into the Winchester. And as they're messing around trying to get everything going, the jukebox turns on and it's playing Queen's Don't Stop Me Now. And this is just one of another fantastic moment because everything that's happening from, I think it's David who's still messing around with the breakers, maybe it's Shaun, I can't remember. They're flipping the breakers and it's going to the beat of the music. Um it is David because Shaun, I think it's Shaun, Ed, and Liz all grab pool sticks and start fighting the zombies who are now massively coming into the Winchester, and they're taking turns beating the zombies to the beat, beating to the beat. It's just a fantastic moment in this movie. Really kind of fun, um, and then the lure of the Winchester rifle comes into play. They pull the gun down, which Sean's always believed is just a prop, and they find out no, it is actually a legitimate rifle and still works. And it fires, and now they've got a weapon. I'm pausing just to let you have a moment because I'm so excited about the movie in case you want to say anything.
Well,
I
no,
get carried away.
I was also waiting for the reveal about Barbara.
Yeah, that's pretty much when that happens. Do you want
Yeah,
to talk about the reveal? I know you love those emotional moments in these movies.
I do. And so it works for both, both Philip and Barbara. Barbara reveals that she's been bitten, and you know it's a really sad moment because Shaun doesn't want to have to be the one to to kill her,
Yeah.
uh, because even David attempts to to shoot Barbara, but Shaun stops him. So
Yeah, he's being a twat about it again. He's like, "You have to kill
uh,
her."
uh, but no,
Yeah.
it's it's a very emotional scene because he loves his mother, and he had uh his stepfather he was not really close to, but like this is just, I mean, he's losing so many people that he knows,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just it's a very emotional part. Like it takes you away for a second from the levity of all the comedy and everything, and also that throws you back into like, no, people are dying around here, and also
Yeah.
people that are important to you will die.
Yeah, it kind of harkens back a little bit to Final Girl with you've got this funny lots of improv comedy, great, amazing one-liners and like you said, it does it's this moment you're losing a parent, especially like that bond of being so close to a mother figure, somebody that's supposed to take care of you, and it's a super sad moment. And unfortunately, it's not the last person Sean's going to lose, uh, ish, in this movie. Um, and when she does pop up, after they have this sort of, you gonna kill her? You kill her? No, don't kill her. She's my mom. Sean's the one that takes her out too. It's sad. Barbara's very likable in this movie. She's like sweet mom. She's just a nice lady. And what does she say too? She's like, I didn't want. They're like, you were bitten. She's like, oh, I didn't want to be a bother. I
No,
didn't
I
want to
know.
worry you. I didn't want to worry you. Like, aw. Um, yeah, and this is now it's chaos time, right? So like David, threatens to leave and right as he's, I'm gonna walk out this door and da 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 da, he doesn't have to because he gets ripped the hell out of the Winchester right through the window. And this is probably the best practical effects that you get in this movie. I like the scene. It's a lot of fun. You get basically David just, being gutted in, real time as he's being kind of crowd surf pulled out of the Winchester. Um, and Diane freaks out because there goes her husband, boyfriend, whatever he is. She opens the door to the Winchester, which was not a smart move for Diane. And now you've got, oh, well, of course, I forgot to mention when the zombies take David, they leave Shaun and is it Liz or Ed? I think it's Liz and Shaun, um, with just David's legs because they were trying to keep him in the bar. So they start using those as weapons. But it's just chaos. And we wind up with just Liz and Shaun and Ed cowering in the inside of the bar, completely surrounded and worried that this is it, right? They're gonna get taken down. But wait, there's a trap door into the cellar. So they get into the cellar and we find out Ed also is not gonna make it. Ed's been bitten. So yeah, now you kind of get a heart to heart with Liz and Shaun, who are, the last folk standing, and they've got a Winchester rifle with 2 bullets left in it, and decide to not be single because you don't want to die single. So they
Yeah.
kind of like get back, get back together in this last moment. Um, but there's a lift, and they take the lift, and they leave Ed, they give him the gun to buy him some time, and Liz and Shaun escape up onto the lift outside, and they run back into the friends that they passed, who they probably should have just gone with, which was such a funny part in the movie.
Well, they lost
Every
some people
zombie
too. They lost some
they
people too.
did.
So
But every zombie movie you see, like, people, when you find other living people, usually they combine. This one, of course, they do the good game, but Yvonne, Sean's friend, sends the military back to save whoever's left at the Winchester, knowing that's where they were going. And Liz and Sean get rescued through a hail of bullets and go back to the house for the ultimate uh ending that everybody wants in the movie, because of course what happened.
Ed Ed is still a well. They go through this whole news story where the zombies are still kind of doing what they were doing before. Like they have this one store clerk still putting carts away, even though he's a zombie. And then
It's like
they
living with zombies.
yeah, and there's this like talk show where like this woman is still in love with her husband, even though he's a zombie. Um,
Hmm.
and next thing you see is Ed is in the shed and still playing video games as a zombie, even though he's all
Hmm.
chained up and everything.
Right. So was Ed always a zombie all along, just playing his video games, being distracted? I mean,
I f-
honestly, like, it is a commentary, this movie, and how human we are, so zombie-like in our current day to day with our phones and our video games, and some people with partying, and we sometimes become a little bit oblivious to the world around us.
oh yeah,
And
good commentary.
sometimes it causes us to fail on those things that are, probably way more important, like relationships. And so it really is. It's kind of Sean's awakening is really Shaun of the Dead. He
Yes,
actually comes
exactly.
back to life. Um, but yeah, such a great movie. Definitely top 10.
Oh
Definitely
yes,
top 10.
definitely.
So I carried a good, because I wouldn't shut up as usual when I get excited about a movie. I carried a lot of it. So let me flip it over to you. Well, I didn't look it up. Did you look up the how much it made and how much it cost to make?
So the budget was 6 million, and the box office was
Okay.
only 38.7 million.
Oh.
But I think it's not counting later stuff like probably I think it became more popular word of mouth, sort of like a cult
Hmm.
classic afterwards,
Yeah.
and it's still like in the top, like I think like top 10 sometimes, like best zombie films out there when you look up
Yeah.
zombie. I think last week we went over a zombie thing, and I think you had that in the, what was it, like
I think it was in the top,
five,
maybe number, I don't
the
know,
top
8 or
five,
something.
was it like top 5 or 10?
I
I
think it was. We were pretty surprised by that list because some
Yeah,
of the movies we'd
especially the
never
number
heard of.
one. Yeah, especially the number one. I'm like,
Right.
what? Okay.
Which I still need to go and watch. Rotten Tomatoes top zombie movies. Let's see where it was. Do 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 do. This is everybody who's listening's moment to guess. Where do you think it ranked? It was, yeah, number 4.
Yes,
So it
that
made the
number.
top 5.
Yeah, definitely.
Only
So,
beaten by Train to Busan, Night of the Living Dead, and everybody's favorite, One Cut of the Dead, which I still need to watch. Definitely a
Now,
cult classic, though.
yeah, I'll definitely give my since you did the basically the main review of the film, I'll give my 2 cents
Okay.
about the film and then my rating. I Edgar Wright is an incredible director. He has a good sense of humor and good timing with his sense of
Mhm.
humor. Even when he's doing something like a drama, like with something like Baby Driver, which has
Mhm.
action and drama, but a little bit of comedy, which he sprinkles in there very subtly.
Yeah.
Um, Originally he was behind. He was going to be what was it? I think he was going to do Ant Man, and I think there was like a issue with creative differences.
Mm.
But I think he would do done really well with the comedy because I like the comedy in Ant Man, and I think he's you know, he's good with comedy. I don't know if you saw the recent movie Running Man with
No,
Glenn
I didn't
Powell.
see the redo.
Yeah, it's more based on the book than it is
Mhm.
on the art. In fact, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Running Man was
Stephen
not
King,
even
right?
yeah, was not even close to the book.
Mhm. Yeah.
None of the things in that movie were even in the book. So, um, no, I thought Edgar Wright in general, like his direction is he knows, even though some of it is British, dry humor, he has a good
Mhm.
sense of humor, and there are
Yeah.
several scenes in here that are just hilarious. And then if you stand back for a second, you realize it is a commentary on society today. We are walking around like zombies. I'll put myself in that category. Sometimes I'll look at my phone when I'm walking, and I won't look where I'm actually, stepping. I've actually
Mm.
walked right into a pole before because I was texting somebody.
Mhm.
Um, you know, we go through our routines over and over again. Sometimes things happen around us. Our environmental awareness is completely off. We're just,
Mhm.
like we're horses with blinders on, and we're just
Right.
going forward all the time and not realizing there's a world around us. We need to actually, stop and smell the roses or enjoy what we have today. But we're just going through a routine every single day. So I really like that commentary in here beyond the whole zombie thing. It's like Shaun is a zombie before this whole thing happened.
Right.
And he gets to grow up and mature and then look at the things that everybody else has seen, and talked about him and everything, and saying you're just not trying anymore. You're
Yeah.
just going through the motions, and his girlfriend is basically like, "I'm going to leave you because you don't seem to get it." Like, and it's not more than just like playing video games and everything. It's more like you're still acting like you're in grade school or high
Mhm.
school, and you're a full grown adult.
Yeah.
Uh, and I like that about Edgar Wright. Sometimes he'll put things subtly into his films, that sometimes we'll talk about society. In this case, talking about like how our society is sort of zombified, and
Mhm.
uses a zombie trope to express it. And then you got like really good actors like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and they are actually really best friends in real life. And
That doesn't
they work
surprise me. They have
they
that charisma.
yeah, they work off each other really well in any movie they're in. And even if they're not in it, they're both good. Like, what was it? Nick Frost is the new Hagrid in the new HBO Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they're all really like good comedic actors, and but together,
Mhm.
they make a good team. And this cast worked really well together. Like I said, there was a couple emotional scenes in here with the parents that I really enjoyed, and I thought that it was good direction, good camera work as well. And all in all, this film is in literally my top 10 of my favorite zombie films, and there's really not much in the way to say anything bad about this film. If I do, I'll get attacked by a zombified crowd.
Or me.
uh, or you. I would have actually watched this if I could find my copy, but I think I packed it away with all my other DVDs recently. So yeah, definitely this film, I give this a super high praise. I wish it made more money. The movie's not even that long. It's 99 minutes. And so
Yeah.
Uh, I wish it made more money at the box office. I don't think it was promoted well enough when it came out, but it has become a cult classic, and anybody in horror knows about this film. They
Yeah.
know about it. And so, all in all, I would definitely give this film a 10 out of 10.
Uh,
It
Well,
completely deserves that rating for this film.
mhm.
I could
I
really not give it a negative for this film.
I 1000% agree. I was sitting here as you because I didn't think about what I was going to rate it, but I'm like, of course I have to rate it a 10 out of 10 because when I say to myself, self, what is your favorite horror movie? This is one of the ones that comes up. And it is just, the visual comedy, the deadpan humor in it. There are so many little moments where I can't tell you how many times I've seen this film, but every single time I see it, I I still laugh because it's that subtlety of old school cameras, but the character Ed, like, slowly advancing the old school wind up camera as they're watching a zombie come towards them and Shaun hitting it out of his hand. It's uh at one point giving Shaun a tetherball pole to attack zombies when they're trying to make it to the Winchester and he uses it to, like, hit the zombie with the ball, and they're like, "No, no, stab him." Like, just these little tiny moments of comedy sprinkled all the way throughout the movie gives it such fantastic pacing, and for something that is kind of a big social commentary, kind of a I mean, we're talking about potentially, um not to bring the party down, but, like, even, like, alcohol abuse, this is, like, binge drinking. It all of that your mom having to be killed, zombie apocalypse. You're smiling throughout this entire movie because you absolutely can't help it. It's just so funny and so quick paced. Very little gore, which I love me some gore, I really do, but when it is there, it's pretty well done.
It's all
Um,
practical too.
yeah, yeah. And I agree with you. It definitely didn't get promoted well enough, but I feel like I can go back in time and think about 2004 when this came out, and I don't know that maybe I feel like if this movie were to come out today, it would be a huge hit. I just feel like maybe it wasn't the right time for a movie like this where it was a little bit more slapstick and there was y- you know overly done kind of drama in horror at that point. But it really is a fantastic movie. Great. We know we love good music in a horror movie, great soundtrack in this one. And then, like we mentioned, some commentary too on, what truly is good music. Even just some of the scenes where they're driving in the car, the music that they put in via cassette tape, might I add.
Yeah.
Uh, Really fantastic. And the movie we forgot to mention in the shed where Shaun goes to play video games with Ed, they play Queen, You're My Best Friend. Just perfect, like, little uplifting moment at the end of the movie. So great music throughout as well. I just absolutely love this film. 10 out of 10 for me as well. It doesn't get more perfect than this when you go into that horror comedy subgenre. Uh, Not scary, fantastic film for sure.
Yeah, this movie came out like at the wrong time because I mean it was also competing I think that year with Dawn of the Dead because it also
Okay.
came out in 2004. So it's a good like having both reviews to get side by side together. We did Dawn of the Dead last week, 2004. We're doing Shaun of
Hmm.
the Dead, 2004. Um, Walking Dead didn't come out till years later until like forgot was it
Oh,
late
2007 maybe?
late 2000s. I forget. Hold on a second.
I want to say
Walking Dead.
2007, maybe 2006.
Yeah.
See how close
2010.
I am.
October
Whoa,
31st,
really?
2010. Yeah. So
Walking Dead,
yeah,
2010?
yeah.
Whoa, okay.
And
Never would
and
have.
so we get like that was sort of like the era of when
Hmm.
zombies were like everywhere. Everybody
Right.
was talking about zombies. Um, early on, you probably had like 28 Days Later and Shaun of the Dead
Hmm.
and the Dawn of the Dead, but that was later on that became like the era of everybody was doing zombies after that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
yeah,
right.
I think it came out too early. Sometimes you come out in a different era that it didn't work, but like I said, it's in my opinion it still holds up to today.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
That's the thing too, is you don't even really notice, except for when you're like, "Oh, that's a flip phone." It doesn't even feel outdated at all, this movie. They could run this in theaters, and I highly recommend that they do. It's nothing about it feels uh like it's out of the mix of today's culture. It's, still kind of the same stuff going on. Um, Maybe just that flip phone and just that cassette.
exactly. All right. Well, that is our rating. We both gave it a 10 out of 10. And yeah, if you have this movie or you're able to find it, rent it, or even buy it online, or you can go to your local, like, oldies physical media store
Hmm.
like Zia Records
Or half price books.
or Bookman's.
Mm. Do
um,
support your
yeah,
local media center.
definitely. Yes. Check out this film. It is a high recommendation. One of my friends does his like rating system goes from I forgot the low one, but all the way up to like it's called it's basically 5 stars. He calls it better than sex. Uh,
Oh, yeah,
so
pizza.
that's his highest rating.
I
It
just
is
called
a
that pizza.
yeah.
So pizza is what you're saying then, right?
Yes, exactly. Pizza. So definitely go check this film out. You won't be disappointed. There's a lot of references to a lot of older zombie films and horror films in this film. So you can pull those little tidbits out.
Easter eggs.
Yeah,
Hmm.
a lot of the Easter eggs. So yeah, definitely we give it a high rating. And
Can I get
thank you,
anything
Elsie, for joining me once again for our
You got it.
review. It almost didn't happen because of issues with the sound and the mic,
And the
but
cats.
and the cats. We both had cat problems.
Hmm.
Um, thank you, listeners. If you're listening to us, thank you, viewers. If you're watching us on YouTube, and remember to enjoy your chimichanga, and also check out our socials. All at Good Nerd Corner, and
LC, LDCD. Can't say it with a straight face.
yes, have a good night, everybody.
Bye.